Mr. T here for another ranking video. So I have a little mini Pokemon series going over on that side of my YouTube channel, so go check that out. But I wanted to throw some more non-Pokemon videos on there. I know some people have asked me about my thoughts on certain things before. I have a friend who's always asked me, well, what are your thoughts on this and this and this? So I'm like, you know what? Let's start throwing some more non-Pokemon videos out there. My non-Pokemon videos seem to get more likes and views than my Pokemon videos. So I guess that's just because you guys don't like Pokemon. So why are you watching half my channel then? Just throwing that out there. All right. So I finally decided, I've been wanting to do this video for a while, and I keep bouncing back, forth, but I finally said, you know what, screw it, let's do it. I am going to rank my top 10 favorite things of all time. All right? Now, rules, because this just kind of should be common sense. I'm not going to put family or God on this, okay? Because, well, just reasons, all right? So everything else. So no family, no God, because obviously those would be number 1 and 2. But minus family and God, these are my 10 favorite things of all time. Right? They have been cemented for years, if not decades. Some of them have been my favorite things since I was a little kid. Some of these on this list have been on this list and in these spots since I can't even remember the last time they weren't on this list or in these spots. So these are my 10 favorite things of all time. My number 1, or my number 10, I should say, is sports. Now, when I was growing up, I wasn't a huge sports guy. I mean, I liked sports here and there and stuff like that, but I wasn't really a huge sports guy. But as I grew up, got into high school, and then got into college, I started really loving sports. My favorite football team is the Broncos. I love the Cubs. The Cubs are mostly because my entire family is from Chicago, and I'm actually the first generation not born in Chicago since my family came over from Italy. But I'm a huge soccer fan, too. Manchester United, the Reds are my team. I know in recent years they've sucked, so that shows you that I'm an actual fan, not a bandwagon, because I'm still proudly rooting for them. But I just checked the stats because I just watched a match earlier today. Manchester is above Liverpool. That's all I care. As long as we don't get relegated, we could be in place 17th as long as Liverpool is 18th. That's all that matters. And my number 1 American soccer team is the Open Cup champions of 2025, Nashville SC. Yeah, love that team. So I love sports. My big 3 are soccer, football, and baseball, obviously. I've been getting into basketball more lately. I actually like going to basketball games. When I watch them on TV, they're kind of boring, but in person, they're super fun. And I actually threw 2 up there. I love curling. I don't know what it is. I love the U.S. men's curling team. It looks like a bunch of dads who just decided to get together one day and try to, avoid having to be in the house. And then Australian rugby, or Australian football, I say. That's not rugby. That's Australian football. Some of you are probably thinking, what's the difference? There's actually a huge difference. I watched it by accident one night. Because I was up at like 2 in the morning, because Australia is 18 hours or 16 hours ahead of us. And it was on TV, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. It's like football and rugby and soccer, and they don't wear pads. Like, you should check it out. It's awesome. But again, because they're 16 to 18 hours ahead of us, it's on at like 2 in the morning our time. But yeah, so I love these sports. I love sports in general. They're awesome. I mean, it's fun. And I know some people are like, oh, sports are stupid, or why don't we spend that money on this and that? I'm like, guys, remember, I've said this before, and I guarantee I'm going to say it again in this video. Culture is one of the defining things that makes us not like animals. I have said this before. I've said this in other videos. We as a species are technically under the animal kingdom. Go look it up, all right? The thing that separates us from animals more than anything else is we have developed culture, right? That's the big thing. And sports, whether you like it or not, sports are a huge part of that culture. And sports bring people together too. I mean, there are so many times where sports have broken through biases and racism and culture wars and all this other stuff to bring people together. So sports truly can be a true healing factor. And I think more people really need to recognize the true position that sports play in our culture and in our society, really. Right? Now, for my number 9 is stickers. Now, I know what you're thinking, stickers. Specifically making stickers. Now, anyone who knows me in my personal life, I sticker everything. I literally have like 6 stickers on my Mac, my phone. I have stickers on my Switch. I have stickers on my car. These are actually pictures from the back of my car over the years. I make these stickers. So I design them, I make them, and so on. I do have a sticker, well, a side, not really a business. I mean, technically, I don't know. But I do have a side business I've been trying to get going for a while. I haven't really actually sold anything. But I make stickers like crazy. That map in the bottom left, that's actually on a 10-foot by 16-foot wall. I made it from scratch. So I love making stickers, just being able to design these things and put them out in the world for people to see. The sticker on the back of my car right now is actually a turkey sitting on Santa Claus saying to wait his turn, because we're only a week out from Thanksgiving. But again, I love making them, and I don't know what it is, but it's so fun to be able to put these things out there, to express myself and show people that when I, gun past them on the freeway and pass them, and get in front of them, they can see what I'm interested in when they see my car speeding away from them. And by speeding, I mean doing the speed limit, because I never actually, have broken the law. I'm gonna leave it at that. So I just love making stickers. It's so fun to make them. They're fun to design, and they're fun just actually creating too. I don't just print them on a printer and cut them out. I actually layer them, and that's why they look so much better, and they last longer than printer made ones. So yeah. All right, now my number 8 is collecting things. I collect so many things. These are actually my 3 biggest collections. Obviously Pokemon cards, if you know anything about me. I actually collect quarters and coins in general. I have a huge coin collection, and state quarters. I know some of you have probably seen these. Some of you have them. So from 2000, well, actually it's 1999 to 2008. The U.S. Mint printed up state coins, so each state got their own coin, and they were released in the order that they became a state, which sucked because I had to wait all the way to 2008 to get Arizona. But I collect these. I actually make really cool flags. I have a couple that I'm working on right now, where instead of stars, it's actually the state quarters. So I think it's a fun hobby. I love collecting them. I have them up everywhere. I actually have an Arizona flag with 48 Arizona quarters in it, because we're state number 48. It's fun to collect them and display them. It's really cool to see all the different types of coins out there. And then I also collect playing cards, like decks of playing cards. I probably have like 300 or 400 decks of playing cards. And honestly, only a couple of them even are actually worth anything. I just like collecting them. I think they're cool. Anytime we go to a new place, anytime we visit somewhere, I always buy a deck of playing cards, because it's one of those things where they're actually really cheap. Most decks of playing cards are like $5-6, if that. And it's a cool little memento souvenir, and you get to use it if you want. So I just love collecting. I collect other things too, but these are literally my 3 biggest areas that I collect, are these 3 things. Now, my number 7, some of you who know me, especially know me personally, you're probably going to think, oh my God, that's really low on your list. You were expecting this to be like top 3, honestly. But you'll see what I mean. So my number 7 is history. Now, I was a history teacher for 10 years. I've loved history. History has been a big part of my life. And even after leaving history and switching into the private corporate section, which I'm not going to get into that, I still love history. I always find a reason to talk about it. I'm trying to get back into making history videos. Those are going to be coming soon. I'm actually working on like 3 or 4 right now that I'll be posting in the coming weeks. And I love history. And the thing is being a history teacher, the first thing I would always try to relay to my students is history is not just a bunch of dead people. History is the patchwork and the framework of how we got to where we are today. Without these events, our world would look so different. And a lot of my students, at least the ones that paid attention, because by the end of my teaching career, most of them weren't paying attention anymore because of TikTok and their cell phones. But the ones that actually paid attention, they've started to realize history does start to repeat itself. I mean, if you study history, you can start to see the interconnected and the twines of events that lead to each other, and you start to see these patterns emerge. And history is it's that thing that truly connects us throughout the ages. It's the one thing that every human being in history has in common, because we all share it, And I love history because it's like, there's facts, but there's so many things we don't know, and so many things we can approach and look at. And one of the biggest things I love about history is I would never just teach just straight, rote memory where it's like, remember these facts and that's it. Now, that was a big part of it. And I think we are starting to get away from that. And I think there's a level of history where we need to truly get these students and kids and even people in general. There's a lot of adults who don't know this stuff. We need to have that baseline. So we do need to teach more of the hard facts. Like, here's the facts, write it down, remember it. But we also teach the ideas of, okay, why did they do this? How did they do this? Why did this event go, bring in everybody across the globe? Like that bottom picture in the middle. For those of you who don't know, that's the fall of Constantinople. How did the fall of one city in the Middle East, Europe region, okay, it was like right on the border Middle East of Europe, and Constantinople was the entrance from Asia into Europe, by the way. How did the fall of that one city lead to the discovery of the United States and America? How did the assassination of some guy in an open-top motor cage lead to the second deadliest war in human history? How did some random dude on the back of a horse create the largest continuous empire in history? How did a tiny little island smaller than the state of Arizona end up creating the most dominant empire the world has ever seen? That is what history is. It's the building blocks of where we are, and I love it. And I think more people need to see how passionate history can be, and we need to start understanding it better. Otherwise, it's a cliche, but it's so true. We're doomed to repeat it. All right, before I get out further on my soapbox, now my number 9, some of you are probably thinking to yourself, I said number 6, sorry, number 6. Okay, I flipped it upside down. Some of you are thinking, isn't that the same thing as his history? It's not, and that's geography. Yes, geography and history do blend, and some people lump them together, but geography is its own thing, and I love geography. I mean, geography is where history takes place. It's our Earth. It's our planet. It's everything, that we look at. And it's not just geography as in like, here's some deserts and mountains and forests. Geography also has a cultural aspect. I mean, someone like me living in the deserts of Arizona, I'm gonna have a much different culture than someone living up in northern New England, or someone in the rainforests of Brazil, or even someone up in the Himalayas of Nepal. I mean, geography shapes who we are and how we develop. And if you look at cultural geography, you see that people adapt their culture more to the region they live in than pretty much anything else, because that's what your livelihood is. I mean, someone who, lives in the middle of the desert isn't going to start worshiping some winter or ice god or something like that. They're going to do the things that they do. And I mean, even in Arizona, we see all these Native American ruins and monuments and such where, like they built their homes to live in the desert. And by doing that, we see such different abstract ways of building between like the Apache versus the Cherokee or the Iroquois because of the regions they live in. And I love it. It's also fun too, because I would always tell my students that I knew every country on earth, and they always tried to like trip me up or try to get me on ones. So there was times where I would actually like let them point on one of the many maps across my classroom. Never once did they ever catch me, because I really do honestly know every country on earth. I can point to it on the map. I can tell you a lot of their capitals. I know their culture, their history, all that stuff. But again, this has been my life for most of my life. I love this stuff. And honestly, right now, I don't have a single room in my house that we live in that doesn't have a map in it. My bedroom has like 7 maps in it. My wife kind of has just given up and just expected this kind of stuff from me. But yeah, I love geography. It is such a huge part. I even have a map at my new office, at my new job. And it doesn't have anything to do with history and geography. But yeah, geography is so cool. And I think we need to learn more of it. Now, my top 5. My number 5, and some of you who have seen me know this very well, is Italian food. Don't get me wrong. I am a diehard, born, bred, and raised American. I bleed red, white, and blue. And America, and there is nothing on this earth that will make me love America more than anything else. Hint, hint, foreshadowing. But boy, I grew up in a semi-traditional Italian household. I had a great aunt who, she was a first generation American, and she made sure that Italy was number 2 on my list. She loved America. She was a proud American, but she made sure Italy was number 2. And boy, did our house boy, was it filled with Italian food. I mean, every holiday, every get together, anything always had to have raviolis and sauce and stuff. And yes, we did have the Americanized food, but because my aunt was born and raised in America, but with, with parents and grandparents directly from Italy, specifically Sicily too. Oh, don't even get me started on that. She was raised in traditional Italian food. So I had a mix of both. I got to eat traditional from Italy Italian food, literally one generation away from me from Italy, and I also got that Americanized Italian food. So I got the best of both worlds. But this stuff growing up, I mean, this is what I lived off of, literally. I mean, there were times where my great aunt, she would, the whole week, all we ate was Italian food. Again, if I ever had to pick Italy or USA, wouldn't even be a choice. It's America all the way. Not even a choice. But I'm glad I'll never have to make that decision because Italy is one of our greatest allies. But when it comes to food, there is no choice. It's Italian food all the way. I love this stuff. Oh my God, my stomach is proof of the fact that I love it. So now my number 4, and this shouldn't come as any surprise to anyone, is video games, just in general. I love video games. They have been a huge part of my life. And I've been seeing some videos online recently, especially about like Pokemon and stuff like that, where people are like, video games are a waste of time. I'm like, first off, you're scrolling through TikTok 20 hours a day watching mind-numbing videos. So don't sit there and tell me it's a waste of time. Video games, I don't think people understand this who aren't actual gamers. It's not just a bunch of characters moving on the screens. It's so much more than that. It's storytelling and drive, and it's, you stick with a problem until you can solve it, and it allows you to keep going and keep fighting, and you never give up. And video games, I mean, there have been countless studies on this. Go look them up. I literally wrote my college thesis paper on the cultural impact video games have had on the United States and the world. That was actually my thesis paper that got me to graduate college with my bachelor's degree. Video games have been proven to increase hand-eye coordination, decision-making skills. It allows people to think faster. The brain of someone who plays video games regularly was actually seen as stronger and had more connections than people who didn't play video games. There are so many positives to video games. And the big one, the number one kicker of it all, video games have been proven to not lead to violence in children. Every mass shooter in the last 30 plus years were not avid or regular video game players. Some of them played them casually, okay? But they were not actual gamers. So that whole narrative of, video games cause violence, it has been debunked so many times. And there are college peer-reviewed studies on this. This is not just my opinion. You can go look them up, okay? But video games bring this sense of wonder and joy that you just can't understand unless you're in the game. And those of you who are gamers are probably tearing up right now because you understand that this just doesn't bring back, the little creatures or pixels on the screen. This brings back memories for you, and it makes you remember a time of true happiness. And that's what video games do. Now, you're not going to see this wrong. You're going to see my next one is actually number 2. I'm not dumb. I didn't skip 3. My number 3 and my number 2 are both my number 2. I know what you're thinking. Oh, that's cheating. Well, it's my list, so get over it. I love both of these equally. I couldn't pick one over the other because they both have always been in my life. So my first of my number 2s, again, these are equal, is Arizona. I love this state. I am a born, bred, and raised Arizonan. If I'm not bleeding red, white, and blue, I'm bleeding copper and gold. I love this state. I love the desert. I love the climate. I mean, it's raining outside right now, and I like rain, but I'm thinking, oh my God, the humidity. Like, I want 150 degrees of dry heat over 80 degrees of humidity, okay? But here's the thing. For those of you who are like, oh, it's 70 degrees here, but 100% humidity, it's worse. We've had the days, like today, well, actually it was the other day, it was like 95 degrees with 80% humidity. So we get those days too, and we still manage to be fine with them. So the next time you say it's hot over here, don't give me any of that crap, okay? But I love this state. And again, we're not just a flat desert. I mean, we have Horseshoe Bend, the Buttes, the Grand Canyon. We have Papago Park. We have the Petrified Forest. We have all of these beautiful, amazing scenery. And of course, we have my hometown, that bridge at the bottom, that's Lake Havasu. We literally bought the London Bridge from London and built it here in the middle of the desert. When they built it, they actually built it on dirt, and then they built the channel that goes underneath it. So that water you're seeing right there at the bottom picture, that's not even natural, that's man-made. That island is technically a peninsula, okay? But again, I love this state. I loved growing up here. I love that I got to have a son here, and he gets to grow up here, and we are born, bred, and raised Copperheads. I love this state. It means so much to me. And I am going to be starting a petition soon. Those of you keep an eye out. We need to make the Roadrunner our state bird. Nothing against the cactus wren. I love the cactus wren. But when you think of the southwestern United States, the two states that are always included in that, you physically cannot have the Southwest without New Mexico and Arizona. And the one bird that the average person thinks of is the Roadrunner. Why is that not our state bird? And some people I've met someone who's like, but that's the state bird of New Mexico. Okay, why can't we both have it? We're both the Southwest. Let's make the Roadrunner our state bird. Sorry, I'm going to get on a huge tangent, a huge soapbox if I get into that. You should hear me when I'm at the zoo when we get to the Roadrunner exhibit. I literally I was given a speech one day like I was running for office with people around me once. All right, now my second number two, most of you shouldn't be surprised by this. Again, these are equal to me, and that's Pokemon. I mean, I'm not going to spend too much time on this slide. You guys know I love Pokemon. I have an entire YouTube channel, or YouTube playlist, I should say, dedicated to Pokemon. Again, Pokemon's always been there in my life. I literally cannot remember a time in my life that I didn't have Pokemon. I mean, I grew up with it. I was there at the beginning, or when it first came to the United States. I mean, I've played every game, every side game. I've collected packs of cards from every set that has ever come out. I mean, I literally have Pokemon cards on my walls in my gaming room. I love Pokemon, and I am so glad I was able to pass that on to my son, and he loves it too. I mean, there are days where he never shuts up about it, and it makes me question whether I still like it or not, but I love Pokemon. I mean, it's not, when I see Pokemon cards, I'm not just looking at a piece of cardboard. I'm looking at the memories, the nostalgia, the era of my childhood. It brings back all those memories. The time I got to play Pokemon with my great aunt who passed away. And, the adventures that I had as a kid with my cousins who I rarely see anymore. That's what it brings back. And that's what video games do too. That's what it means to be a gamer or someone who loves things like Pokemon. Those people who are like, it's just a bunch of cardboard. It's not the cardboard. It's the memories that go with it. And that's why I love Pokemon so much. Now, my number one, let's be completely honest here. Did anyone expect, when I said no family and no God, did anyone expect anything else to be my number one besides this? I mean, come on, people. It's me. I mean, if you've watched one of my videos, you know how much I love the United States. And I know some people are like, your patriotism's a little much. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I love the greatest country on earth, And it really gets me nowadays, because when I was growing up, America was seen as the greatest country. And we still are in a lot of people's minds. I've met so many immigrants and so many people from other countries who are like, oh, we would love to go to America. Some people are dying to get here. But in recent years, it's coming to the point where it's like you need to be ashamed to be an American. And people are like, oh, we're not that great. We have this problem and this. I'm like, guys, our country, there are so many things that we have freedom and liberty to do that other countries are literally dying for. There are people in other countries who are being killed for trying to go to school and better themselves. There are women, there was literally just on the news earlier this year, at the end of last year, beginning of this year, there was a woman who was beaten to become brain dead because she chose not to wear her hijab in Iran. Go look it up. It was all over the news about a year ago. I mean, there was was a little girl who was shot because she walked into a school. I mean, people in Africa are literally being killed because they're gay. You don't even have to agree with homosexuality. I'm not even going to get on that soapbox, but they're being killed for it. I mean, that's the thing is, we sit here and we degrade Biden and Trump and Obama and Bush. Do you realize that half the countries on earth, more than half, you could get imprisoned or even killed for making fun of or going after the leader? Eh? And this is not my opinion. Go look it up. There are literally countries on this earth today in 2025, you could be killed for talking bad about your leader. Several years back, there was a guy thrown in prison for 6 months because he posted a picture of Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. You know, the little guy who's like precious and all that. He posted it next to the president of Turkey. That's it. He got 6 months in prison for that. If we did that here in the U.S., 80% of the country would be in prison. We have freedoms in this country that other people can't even dream about. Eh? That is how great we have it. And I don't think people understand that. We live in the greatest country to ever exist in the history of mankind. And people are squandering their chances and they are taking advantage and they don't understand it. So I love this country. I will never apologize for loving this country. And it is my favorite thing in all of existence outside of my family. Really take a step back and see how great this country is before you start to jump down why it's so bad and all this other stuff. Because we do live in the greatest country on earth. It might not seem like it some days, but it is so much better here than anywhere else on earth. Europe, Australia, Canada, and everything else included. Go look it up if you don't believe me, but I love this country. Okay? Our government, again, Trump, Biden, Obama, Bush, whoever, our government might not be the greatest, but America and its people, we are the greatest. And I will die in red, white, and blue. And I am proud my son is just as patriotic as me. So, as always, stay beautiful, Americans. Thank you for watching my video. Sorry for my couple of soapboxes. I get on my little soapbox whenever I get passionate about something. So, as always, stay beautiful, Americans. And peace.